Oh, hello there. This is Chef Luigi Pomodoro coming to you live from Austin, Texas with Locadoro at home.
Hi, this is Fiore Tedesco from Locadoro. Welcome back to Locadoro at Home. This is episode 3, and for this week's dinner, we have made some Veduvin spiced smoked spare ribs, a spighiarello slaw, and smashed sweet potatoes that we're going to roast in the pan together here to get them crispy and finish with some miso butter. We're going to focus on the sweet potatoes because this is really the most fun part, and I think it'll be a really fun cooking part at home, and we're going to do this right now. So to smash these sweet potatoes, a little context. The sweet potatoes we've roasted them at like 375 degrees for about 75 minutes. They're nice and soft. If you can see, they're like pretty pliable, so we can mush and press through them pretty easily. They're also, by roasting them not too hot, we've concentrated the sugars and the sweetness. And in sweet potatoes, the inulin in the sweet potatoes, which are, once concentrated and cooked low, are really delicious. So what we're going to do is take a piece of parchment paper. This could also be plastic wrap or a piece of foil. But you want a piece big enough to put the sweet potatoes that are coming in your bag that you can put on one side and then fold over the other part. Now once it's folded over, this is the fun part. We're just gonna press pretty evenly and get them pretty well smashed, right? And now once they're smashed, it looks really fun. We are going to get a pan on high heat, and I have a 12-inch cast iron pan here, and we want to get this really nice and hot first, and then we are going to put a little oil in here. Grapeseed oil would be best because we're cooking over high heat. It could be vegetable oil, coconut oil, just a touch, and we're going to put this butter in. You want to put a little bit of a hot, high temperature, stable oil rather than olive oil in here with butter, because it'll help lower the burning point that the butter would have without that grapeseed oil. So it's going to make it so that we can cook the sweet potatoes, get them crispy in that without burning the butter. That's the goal here. And then we're going to baste with the butter and then finish with a little miso glaze. I have my pan on and we're almost ready to put the oil in. But I want to know, before you actually smash your potato and get your pan warm, you want to get your pot of water up and simmering and get your ribs in the pot, starting to simmer before you do this process. The ribs are going to take about 15 minutes to warm back all the way through in that pot. And if you start that 5 minutes before you start this process, your timing is going to work out really well. So our ribs are ready right over here, but let's say you have your pot ready to go here right now. Our pan's up. I have some grapeseed oil right here. Putting a couple tablespoons in. And then I'm going to take our butter. I actually have a little extra butter here. I'm going to put in the couple tablespoons that we need right there. Now, we're going to place our sweet potatoes right on top. Now I've seasoned the sweet potatoes already, so you don't really need to salt them at this stage. It's important to note that the miso that we've made is also pretty salty. And that's going to be on there to finish, so you might want to hold off on any additional seasoning or salt. It's all going to be in there. And to talk about the miso a little more, we make that at the restaurant, and we haven't made it in a while because we haven't been open in a little bit. But the way that we make that, we use the bits and ends from yesterday's focaccia that we always have on the menu, and we take that and grind that in a food processor and mix it with koji, with rice koji, and water and salt. And then we mix that together and put that in our fermentation chamber for between 6 and many, many more months. This batch here has actually been going for almost a year and a half, and it's super dense and sweet and caramelly and concentrated. And I thought it was going to go really, really well with the sweet potatoes. It also will burn really quickly at a high temperature. So what we're going to do is we're crisping these sweet potatoes just like this. We're going to turn these over in a second. After we take these sweet potatoes out and put them on the plate, then we're going to mix that little bit of miso in with the butter and drizzle that sauce on top. So our sweet potatoes have been in here for a minute. I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to use a spatula or whatever you're really comfortable with to turn them. But I can tell that they're about ready to turn over. They're getting crispy right there. Boy, that's beautiful. That's crispy right there. We're almost home. So these guys look about ready to go. Another like 1 minute and we're there. And while we're doing that, we'll cut some chive batons. So I'm going to make sure that you have beautiful whole chives coming to you. And you want to cut these yourself. The quality of them is going to be so much better if you do this last minute. I'm just going to cut these ends off and put them aside. And then cut little like inch-long batons. I love chives, so I'm going to put a bunch of them on here. It's going to make it really fun. And we want like nice, even, beautiful pieces there. We're going to sprinkle that right on. It's been about 2 minutes on this other side, and these are about ready to go. And what we're going to do is, again, use utensils that you're really comfortable cooking with. And take that sweet potato there, and I'm going to take the second one and plate it sort of just crosswise right over it. And now that that's out, I'm going to turn the temperature down on the pan down to low. It doesn't really need to cook anymore. It's pretty hot. I'm actually going to shut it off all the way there right now because it's looking a little hot and a little smoky. And I'm going to take our miso, put it in there. And you can hear it, it's going to snap and crackle. And we just want that to come together. This is to be like a broken sauce rather than an emulsified sauce. We're embracing that it's like, that it's going to be like, it's almost like brown buttery. We are sort of browning the butter and adding all these bits. And so we now are going to take that and just spoon it generously over. And so you have all these bits of the miso. The miso is not going to like turn totally liquid. It has a lot of sugars in there from the fermentation process, and it really wants to caramelize and get crispy. So you have all these like charry little miso bits and the butter. And then we'll finish it right over here. Clean up that plate a little bit. And we have our chive batons, and just go nuts with them. I'm going to use all of them because, man, it's going to be so much more fun. And so there you have it. So smashed sweet potatoes with miso butter and chives. Yum. I hope you enjoy, and stay sane.